absolutely blame white supremacy. 100%.
Really?
Yeah.
See, say more, and then I'll respond to that.
I mean, just look at the history of the country. Like, it's just really just that simple for me. The country has never fulfilled its promises of freedom, liberty, and justice for all. It's always been freedom, liberty, and justice for some. And usually that some is white people.
So here's what I would say in response to that. That is obviously true that the nation has fallen short of our promise since our founding. But walk through some obvious facts about America. We're not founded on an ethnicity or a monarch or a food or even a religion. We're founded on a set of ideals that brought a group of people together in 1776, and we live by those ideals. At least we aspire to those ideals today. A nation that aspires to ideals that's not made up of gods, but made up of human beings, will always fall short of those ideals.
What's going on, everyone? It's Talkskin here today, and that was a beautiful intro, because for the longest time in the black community, their main excuse was, oh, this country was never founded for black people, right? Black people was always excluded in the history of this country. In my view, this is what Marxist, because Marxism, for me, I starting to notice now that the Marxist ideas are very popular in the black community. And I never really noticed it until like my live stream on Friday, that black people have this idea that they separate themselves as a group from a nation. When you're born into a nation, and by default, that means, hey, you're part of that nation. You have a membership in this nation. If you don't like the nation, go find another nation. But they don't want to do that. They want to sit here and completely transform America in their own image. And my problem with a lot of Marxists or a lot of people who just hate America is like, I ask them, what are you going to replace it with? A monarchy based on race? Okay, so you're going to institute a racist democracy? That's what you want. You want to go backwards. And this is the problem I have with a lot of black people, because a lot of the ideas come across to me like rednecks. You know, white rednecks will call white people that associate with black people mud sharks. Well, black people are essentially taking on that culture and doing it the same thing to black people like me, who look beyond their race. If I say, hey, I believe in colorblind, hey, I believe in meritocracy, some black people will roll their eyes about that. Right? And this is why I don't like affirmative action. Because affirmative action only invites more racism. No one can dispute this argument. It invites more, and even the progressives that push affirmative action acknowledges that it is discrimination. So you're going to fight discrimination with more discrimination? All you're going to do is what? Create more division, create more discrimination. Someone's going to see a black doctor and be like, damn, did he get in on his own merits, or did he get in because of the color of his skin? Racism. Judge me not by the color of my skin, but the content of my character. We're going backwards as a culture. Well, black people don't want to admit this. Vivek set the expectation, saying, hey, you are judging America based on perfection, because name me a better country. Name me a better country than America that's for black people. The richest black people, most of them are congregated in America, but America's a racist country. If America's a racist country where black people are the most well off in the world, it seems like we need more of that then. And this is where I get this. This is why it baffles me that they go, oh, America's a racist country. When the only reason you can judge America that way is because in their constitution, which was the founding document of America, all men are created equal. And you can point out America's hypocrisy. Just because its people didn't live up to the ideals doesn't make the ideals bad. And that's what I'm trying to conserve. This is one of the reasons that I am a conservative, because I believe in American exceptionalism. And because if you're striving to becoming exceptional, you're going to recognize you're going to fall short, but you get to hold yourself accountable to that. That's why I can't be a leftist. The leftists don't hold themselves accountable to anything. What leftists believe? You don't know. It's strict with the trends. If one trend they say, hey, we're for the vaccine, next trend they're against the vaccine. My body, my choice. Then vaccine came. Oh no, you have a duty to your society to get vaccinated. When the pro-lifers say, oh, you have a duty to protect life. Oh no, I don't. You see, this is why leftism to me is annoying, because I don't stand for anything, and I can't be a part of a community that don't stand for nothing. You say we're for this, we're for that, but then when I point out obvious hypocrisies of the left, oh no. In this next clip, Vivek is gonna start going more in depth about the promises of America and how, hey, you can criticize America, but you can't criticize India, China, because they weren't founded on any principles. They're only founded on a racial group or religion. You'll get his point when you see the clip. Let's take a look at the clip.
And we live by those ideals. At least we aspire to those ideals today. A nation that aspires to ideals that's not made up of gods, but made up of human beings, will always fall short of those ideals. So I think our worst hypocrisies as a country, and we have many of them, our worst hypocrisies are our best evidence that we have ideals at all. You take a look at other countries. Nobody ever calls the Chinese Communist Party a hypocrite, or China a hypocrite, or Iran a hypocrite. Why is that? Because to be a hypocrite, you at least had to have ideals in the first place.
But a lot of
and so we're imperfect, but we are about the pursuit of a more perfect union, the pursuit of happiness. America's about the pursuit. And so I think that trashing ourselves, I think we are, actually.
The reason I say that is because, we never were included in those ideals originally.
Yeah. But never and not originally are two different things. Originally, that's true. Over 250 years of progress, if you had somebody who was in 1870 looking at the world we live in today, if you had somebody in 1960 who was looking at the world we live in today as it relates to race in America, we would be darn close to what they would have thought of as the promised land.
Great point that he brings up, right? And this is the problem I have. How are you going to complain more about the country when it's at its best point currently in history for black people? It always, these are people who don't understand history, in my view. Because in the 1920s, in the 1900s, you had slaves who used to be slaves, died millionaires. And now in 2023, you have people who never been slaves complaining about, how slavery has set us back. How, Sway? It shows that the black people has been conditioned to be helpless. And this is one of the reasons why I find leftism so annoying. It's because leftism put these ideas of learned helplessness in black America. I'm being honest. Now, because Vivek's my guy. This is the guy I want to be president of the United States. Is it likely to happen? It's up to him, honestly. But I give him a good shot to exceed people's expectations. Because this is the kind of vision I want for America. Right? We striving for, that's what I'm saying. I always, when people criticize America in my group of friends, I always go, okay, name me a place better for black people. Always getting stuck. They say Africa. I said, Africa? Huh. There's Africans, Nigerians leaving Africa to come to America. And you saying Africa? Okay, take your chance there, though. I respect it, though. Go take your chance there. Never do it. Never fall through. Why? Because they know this is the best place to be. It's just you complaining. You want everything to be someone else's fault. And in my view, the biggest determinant of success or failure is you. You have the most impact. An individual has the most impact on the outcomes that they experience in their life, period. In a community level, it's the people in the community that will drive the biggest change. You can't go out and be like, we're going to do just political. Even when Martin Luther King was pushing the civil rights bill, it wasn't due truly to politics. He had a culture in the community. Hey, we all going to stand united on something. But that came from inside. If black people didn't choose to do that, you don't think we'll have a civil rights bill today? No. If they were out there burning on the streets, doing race riots and all that stuff, you think it would have helped their message of equality in America? No. But look what we're doing today. And we think we're doing something. Bro, y'all spinning the memory of the civil rights movement. This is me being honest now. Because I've been holding back too long trying to convince you, but it seems like people don't want to be convinced. So instead of convincing you, I'm going to challenge you now. If America was such a bad country, how come we're the only country that had elected at the highest seat of power, a non-majority person in the White House, holding the strongest, most powerful position in the world? Only a country to do it so far. Other than, I'm still right about that. You think a white man will make it and be a president in any of the countries in Africa? No, y'all know it. Y'all already know it. But for here, y'all have all this expectation, and this is what Vivek was hinting at. You can't be no minority in China and try to rise up to the highest power office in power. You crazy as hell. Because the country wasn't founded on any principles. You only can call America a hypocrite because America is giving you, hey, this is what we're trying to live up to. And you're saying, hey, you haven't lived up to it yet. Oh, you're right. But we're working towards that. And you're going to bash your country for trying to live up to those ideals? I wanted to talk about how even if I give Charlamagne that point about, hey, during the founding, black people wasn't included. From then, you already seen that America was already trying to strive to limit slavery, right? I believe it was 18 years after the 1776, they passed a law to stop the the slave trade from coming into the America. So that means we stopped new slaves from coming into America 18 years after our founding. But we're fighting on racism. Like, we already started trying to live up to those ideals that we founded the country on. But these people, these purists, they always it doesn't make it. Back then, in the 1800s, 1700s, slavery was a universal thing. All countries were practicing slavery. I never seen black people have this same fire for the Arabs, for the Indians, who were castrating their slaves, their male slaves, so that way they couldn't reproduce on their country. But you hear bashing America. Like, I don't understand. This is the only reason there's no slaves, no descendants of slaves in India, because they castrated all the men, all the black slave men, Arabs and the Indians. I forget which one. Someone probably will correct me in the comment section. They castrated their slaves, so they don't have to deal with this reparation crap that America's dealing with. Would you rather that had happened? Would you rather you haven't been born? Like, come on. And this is an argument I always fall back on. If Africa never sold any of y'all ancestors for bottles of wine, you think your butt would be here in America today? You wouldn't even have the opportunity to be demanding reparations if that never happened. So in a way, you're thankful that African slave traders sold your ancestors for a bottle of wine. So now you in 2023 can sit here and blackmail America saying, "Oh, you owe us reparations." Through your actions, you're saying you're happy that happened. Through your actions, you're showing that for you, race hustlers, slavery, racism was a good thing, because now you can use it to justify your entitlement. Oh, I want this. I want that. You owe me this. You owe me that. Because of who? Because of my ancestor. And when I point out, hey, black people, race hustlers, you're extorting the suffering of your ancestors for your own personal gain, y'all want to get mad at me in the comment section. Okay, bro. Let's check out Vivek's mic drop moment, in my view, and I'll continue on to this video because I got further analysis for you at the end of the clip. Let's take a look.
So I think we have to recognize that America is about that pursuit. We're a lot further along than we were 250 years ago. And here's the other thing, too. We got to set our expectations. We will always fall short of our ideals. By definition, if there are human beings and not gods living in a nation that aspires to ideals, we are fallen. Man is fallen. That's what makes us who we are. But what also makes us different from animals is that we have ideals. So America's founded on our humanity, that we can believe and aspire to something that we will still fall short of. That's what makes this country beautiful. And that's why that's why I'm in this. You ask me, why am I in this? I care about reviving pride in that nation, because if we get into the habit of just bashing that country, what are we bashing? We're bashing the last best hope that man has for aspiring to those ideals. Tell me who else has done better. I'll wait.
And that's what makes America great. And that's what I want to get back to. Hey, let's have some national pride here. Hey, let's all be fighting for those ideals. Because if politicians, right, if we are electing politicians with this idea that they're striving to make America a better country, right? We're striving to make it more peaceful, more equitable, not more equitable, right? Provide equal opportunity for everyone, right? And that's the guiding principles. Bro, a lot of this little running on issues, it'll go off the window, right? Because I don't want politicians to run on issues. I want politicians to run on solutions, right? And that's a mindset change. That's a mental framing that I think a lot of Americans have to make mental adjustments. Because right now we've been falling into what this country can do for me instead of what I can do for this country, or how can I help this country do right by its people, by its nation. This is why I'm a nationalist. This is why, because we need some unifying ideals that we all are striving for, regardless of political affiliation. And this bashing of, oh, this side is evil, this side is a traitor to their race, this side, to me, is a distraction and nothing but ideological tribalism, in my view, anyway. Because I'm about solutions. My background, if you knew where I came from, my corporate background, that's all I do for a living. I problem solve. I solve problems. That's what they pay me for. That's why they pay me very handsomely in my job for. And I'm like, for someone like me seeing political, I'm like, yo, like, what's the purpose of all this? And all I can see is, hey, purpose is to get myself elected. Okay, if your purpose is to get yourself elected, what happens when you run out of issues to get elected on? It'll become harder to what? Be elected. And this is the corruption of politics, if you want me to put it out there. Because at the end of the day, what's more in a politician's best interest? to keep wedge issues so he can keep running on it. So pretty much guaranteeing their job. This is why I'm against career politicians, by the way, or solving problems and then having less things to campaign on. I'm being honest. America, it's end of the day, it still falls on us. It's still our responsibility to hold these elected officials responsible and accountable. Hey, we need problem solvers. But it seems like America doesn't. Americans say they want problem solved, but really they just want issues to be in the forefront of Americans' minds and use it as I want my guy in charge. I want my guy in charge. I'm not for tribal politics in a way. Now I can agree. Hey, look, 80% of the time I agree with the Republicans' subscription to the problems that we face in society. But America as a whole, we're not, I say, cohesive enough to actually create a national strategy to actually address the problems, because then we'll elect a Republican president, but then give him a divided house and then be surprised when the Republican president can't do anything. Like this is the kind of the stuff that you struggle in a democracy. But hey, we all trying to do our part. But before I want to end off this video, I want to kind of give a highlight, a speech he had.
Well, I hope the last year of your experience at St. X taught you the same thing that St. X taught me. Hardship is inevitable. That's just real life. You all encountered hardship this year, and you're going to encounter hardship in your lives beyond St. X. And when you do, you're going to have a choice to make. Will that hardship break you, or will it make you stronger? I've made my choice. It's what allowed me to succeed in my career. Hardship is not the same thing as victimhood. Hardship is what teaches us who we really are. But remember the second lesson too. When you encounter hardship, you don't have to deal with it on your own. You can lean on the people around you. If you have a strong community, you'll bounce right back and you'll do something great.
Victimhood is a choice, right? And this is the problem, like, I have with, like, this is why I like Vivek. Like, honestly, he's speaking my language, right? Because I grew up with, this land is your land, this land was made for you and me, right? So when you try to exclude a group of people, instantly that already is like, oh no, that's a turn off for me. I'm like, no. Oh, you want to exclude white people just because they're majority represented in this field? Okay, why you don't do the same thing for black people in the NBA since they're majority represented in that field? Then NBA is not representative of the population, but y'all don't go after them. But you want to go after these white folks here doing working as lawyers, engineers, doctors. Like, you see the game? I just see that, hey, you're using the pretext of, black people have it hard in this country. But end of the day, the laws, like, the rules are fair right now. If you're born in my generation, if you're a millennial to a Gen Z, you have no excuse for, racism is stopping. No, I ain't gonna believe that. I'm not likely to believe that. And in the day, people who actually did face racism and all they wanted was a fair shot. And now you have it. Now you're their grandkids, you have it. Now you're using it as, it's too hard. It's because of racism. I can't do it. Like, you look back into the past to find reasons for why you can't succeed in the current and in the future. When your ancestors or when your parents or when your great grandma was going through it in the civil rights movement, she can point to something presently that she couldn't do. A lot of the disadvantage that the black community faces is purely economic. If black people were, let's say, making 6 figures a year on average, a lot of the problems they complain about today, they wouldn't be complaining about it right now. I'm being honest. To me, a rich black person will face more racism than a poor black person. This is my view. Because you're a poor black person. You prove the racist right. Oh, you're inferior, you're this. You prove them right. So why would they be mad at you? Why would they be outwardly racist against you? This is why I said liberals are the most racist people in America. Because they're like, you fit our expectations. But the minute a black man is out here being successful on his own, doing his own thing, starting his own business, y'all want to get mad at him. Y'all trying to discredit him. Y'all trying to say he's not fit for the job. All this is coming from liberals, by the way. Because a successful black man is more likely to say what I'm about to say. Hey, do nothing for me. I could do it on my own. Just get out of my way. Because liberals, they need to feel needed. I'm sorry. Liberals, y'all got a savior complex. Most of you anyway. Or at least that's what's projected in the media. Y'all think black people can't do nothing for themselves. And that's a sense of, hey, like these people are inferior. You don't do that to the Asian people though. And this is my point. You're treating people differently based on their what? The color of their skin. Does not make you racist? You let me know in the comment section. But liberals want to sit here and act like, oh, conservatives are racist. No, conservatives are upfront about it, right? I take the Malcolm X's analogy. If a conservative is racist, he'll let you know upfront. If a liberal's racist, they'll do it covertly. Like when they say, oh, poor kids are just as smart as white kids. Can you tell me in the comment section which president said that line? Right? Liberals have this idea that poverty is only racial. Imagine that. Imagine being so racist that you think poverty only affects one group of people. Who's more likely to think poverty is affecting only one group of people? A liberal or conservative? Let me know in the comment section. But you already know my answer. It's a liberal. Only a liberal will think, oh, poor kids are all black, all minority. Only a liberal would think that. But for some reason, because this is what happens when you let a lie gets repeated over and over and over again. People start believing that nonsense. But hey, I think I've been rambling too long. I think this is a super long video. I'm sorry, guys. I had a lot of ideas over the weekend. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I really do appreciate you guys for watching to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.